Good morning, everyone. So, this is Real Life Experiences. And today we have a special guest, and I'm just going to have her introduce herself.
Hey guys, my name is Mel. I'm an international student currently studying at Missouri Southern State University at Joplin Emo. I'm from Nigeria and I'm currently in my sophomore year and I'm a nursing major.
Wow, okay, that is an amazing background to have. So, you're from Nigeria. How cool is
Yes,
that?
it's awesome. I love my heritage.
Yes. So, can you tell us where Nigeria is located?
Okay, so Nigeria is in the continent of Africa and is located in West Africa.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So I just wanna go ahead and ask you some questions in
Okay.
regards to your country. But can you tell us some differences between as a student, as an international student between the US and Nigeria?
Okay, sure. I feel one of the major differences is the workload. Like back home, the workload is far more heavy and hectic compared to here. And first of all, I think back home we have this mentality that academic excellence is the only way to go. Here in the
Mm.
States, there are so many other opportunities that you can use to foster your livelihood. Like you can play sports, be an athlete, do your talent, and focus on any musical adventures you have. And there is so much sort of stuff you could do to publish yourself, and make a living. But back home, they have this belief that academics is everything. So you have dedicated your full life to going to school, basically, from higher education, your secondary school, your graduate school, and everything.
That's pretty impressive. I'm just saying. Lyndon, do you wanna say something?
Yeah. So, how long have you been here at MSSU?
Okay, so I'm currently in my sophomore year, so this is my second year at MSSU.
It's your second year.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how's your experience here been so
Uh,
far?
my experience here has been wonderful because the people in Joplin are so nice, especially the
Oh.
MSSU student, faculty, and staff. Like the professors are so understanding, and they understand that life happens sometimes, and unforeseen circumstances take place and range. And I just love the community here, and I'm very involved in the community in clubs, recreational activities, the gym, and in any vast way I could.
That's really great. What clubs are you involved in?
I'm a member of Staten Ambassadors, Women in Science, Cadicios Club, the Plant Club, and so many more.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I mean, that's just so cool, what you had said in regards to some differences. Can you tell us a little bit about your own, some of your own personal experiences that you had to encounter and or struggle while being here in America?
Yeah, I would love to share that. I feel sometimes I get underestimated because some people
Mm,
feel like my education may not be equivalent.
okay. Yeah, I feel to a certain extent, we've all felt that way, But coming from an international student, can you tell us a little bit more though about it?
Okay, so some people feel kind of they have nice feelings and intentions and they try to offer so much help even when you don't need it because they have this mentality that you because you're not from here you'll be confused and alone, so they try to offer help even
Mm,
though when you have it under
Mm,
control.
yeah, I feel I don't know. I don't like when people do that. People just assume how you're feeling instead of maybe asking you, how do you feel? They're just oh, you must be lonely, and I can relate to being homesick and being away from home, to get a better education, because that's the goal. That's what we're here for. What about you, Landon? How has your experience been?
my experience with being here or
Yes,
being like at
at
MSSU.
MSSU.
Well, I grew up here, so it's not much different. I mean, for most of us around here, we grew up, I don't know, going to MSSU events and stuff. For me, I mean, it wasn't too big of a difference from how I grew up. So I think that's what's even more incredible for me to hear about other people's experiences that didn't grow up here, and you can get really lost and thinking that your life and what you do on a daily basis is what other people do. Like you don't really don't think about how different the experience could be for somebody else,
Right.
being here. So to me, it's just incredible hearing both of your experiences and, you know, um, how different that all of our experiences are. It's why you have to ask people. You have to be involved, and you should care
Mm.
about everybody around you.
So I just want to say, like, I also had a friend from Nigeria, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that she mentioned that the rules in a way, like people or like students have to be more like respectful towards their professors. Like if a professor were to come inside the classroom, kids would have to like stand up to like greet the professor. Is that something that does happen or?
Yeah, absolutely. So your friend is absolutely correct. So typically in a secondary setting, so in your primary school, your nursery school, when your professor or anybody of higher authority steps in your room, you're expected to stand up and greet them.
Mm,
Usually it's like a rhyme that goes with good morning, welcome to this class, welcome to Basic Night Butterfly. And you just greet them and tell them, hey, it's like an appreciation thing. So
mm,
back home, we are very respectful of our elders. So it's something that is constantly incorporated into our system, whether it be school, church, your basic living. So yeah, it really
so
happens.
someone can get in trouble if they don't stand up to greet.
Not necessarily. So
Okay.
it pertains to the person, the individual you're talking about. So some teachers may understand that students may be having a bad day,
Mm,
or it's just their personality, or maybe they may be a little rude at that point. But usually they won't really get in trouble, but they can get punished for it. So it
okay.
depends on the person that you're greeting.
Okay, that actually makes sense.
But a big difference here is anybody of higher authority, it is an insult to shake them with your left hand. It is seen as a taboo back home. So if you're handing something to them like a pen, a pencil, if you're shaking your hand, you must always use your right hand at all times.
Oh wow, I did
Wow.
not know that.
Yes, it is a huge factor. It is taken very
Wow.
seriously back home.
Well, thank you so much for that information because if I do ever go to Nigeria, I definitely do not want to offend anyone. So I feel like it's I'm learning a lot here.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, absolutely. And, something that I've kind of noticed at, universities around here, there's a lot of like casual relationship between professors and students. I mean, sometimes
yes.
it's very casual. And that's a lot different, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I could really beat into that because when I came here, when I started my first semester last year, I really found it difficult to call my professors by name because in my country that is seen as highly disrespectful. So it took me a while to get used to calling my professors your name and everything. And like you said, the casual relationships, there is nothing like that back home. They have established I'm the professor, you're the student. There is no casual relationship, and if you even try and cross that boundary, you're gonna get in trouble, and they don't take it lightly. So no, there is no casual relationship between students. Like the professors are more stern. They're all academically inclined, for what I would say.
Wow.
That is so interesting to me because even in, high school and stuff, I had such a casual relationship with my teachers and even my professors. I know, some of them by their first name. I refer to them as their first name because they prefer that. So, it's really crazy to hear that kind of stuff because, it is so different. And I think that's a really common thing around this area.
Yeah, and I said, like I said before, it really stares back to respect. So I think that
Hmm.
is a huge factor that is holding. It holds multiple aspects of our school's relationship with our teachers. So it's all about respecting your elders. That is the morals, and that's how we were brought up, and that's how we are expected to also bring up our children.
That's
Wow.
really interesting.
I love how respect is a big emphasis on your culture. And I mean, I'm not saying that we do not respect our elders here, we just do not have that much of a strict authority. Like, I'm not going to call you by your name, because of, so and so. And I just think that it's pretty cool that we're able to learn the differences between the two countries because I had no idea that that's just how things were.
Yeah. And like I would actually beg to differ. Like I would appreciate if students could have a casual relationship with their teachers, I feel like the attitude some professors establish with their students based on an authority level really fosters and drives students away, especially when they're having a
Mm.
hard time. Like, at least if I'm having troubles, I know some professors here I could talk to and they would understand, they would guide me.
Yes.
This is not to say that professors back home would not guide you, they would.
Right.
But I feel like it would be much easier if we could also have a casual relationship with our teachers back home. It would solve a lot
Yes.
of problems, to be honest with you.
Well, thank you for sharing that because I know that for me, like if I have a question in regards to something that I might not have understood in my assignment, I am to go to my professor's office and just, hey, I have this question. Can you clarify it for me? And I'm not feeling afraid, that they're gonna just be super strict with me. But instead, I know that they are trying to help me. And I'm sure that in your country, though, I'm sure that they have good intentions to helping their students. They just don't want to maybe cross that boundary between friendship and authority.
Exactly. Because I think in some scenarios or past cases that may have jolted their reason for this authority relationship is because uh, they may have crossed the boundary, for instance, and taken the relationship for granted. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that is the
Well,
reason.
yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Lyndon, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, even with on that topic of talking to your professors, I know that the use of email and like even messaging your professors is pretty common. Like when you have a question or something, I prefer emailing them because that conversation face to face has gotten a little more difficult as technology has become so big. So
Right.
I mean, yeah, I mean that just goes into the casual relationship between professors where you can just shoot them an email and be like, "Hey, what's up? I have a question." And I'm sure that's not the case.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
exactly. That is definitely not the case. And this is why I beckon on how I wish there was a casual relationship. Because here, anytime I have a problem or situation, I can email my professors and let them know. But back home, so high school is for 6 years instead of 4 years, like in the United States of America.
Oh.
And I personally went to a boarding school for the full 6 years. And it was a story that I will share another day. It is I have so much experiences, so much
Oh, we
trauma.
can't wait to
It
hear
has
Oh
it.
made
yeah.
me independent and also made me grow in so many ways, but it also has some disadvantages and some advantages. But I did find, and in my boarding school in person, they didn't allow electronics of any sort, no computers, no phone, nothing at all.
Wow.
So um, we couldn't email our professors. If you needed to talk to your professors about something, you go to their office and catch them up. So if you're sick, there was no way for your professor to know except to talk to them in person. So there
Wow.
was no electronics, nothing at all, basically.
So if there's no electric, because I know that we use, I mean, even our books are on electronics here
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah,
For
MSSU.
sure.
So I'm sure that's a lot different. Because did you learn like from books and use books? The majority in pen and paper, pencil and paper. So I mean, everything we do practically here is online. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
a lot of assignments and stuff. So that's so different. I can't even remember times where we didn't use the computer.
Right.
It's just so different. But yeah, I mean, it's been forever since we've used just a book and pencil and paper to do assignments.
Right.
Oh. And from what I noticed, so back home in our system, so typically you don't have the same schedule every day because I've heard like some people have the same schedule every day. You can have like math 3 or 4 times a week, English like 4 times a week. So your main science subjects will have more priorities for the week, but the rest subjects are scattered abroad. Okay.
Wow.
So a teacher comes into your class, they talk to you, maybe recap about the lessons you guys had the previous day, and they write on the board. You're expected to bring out your pen and your book for that particular subject and write exactly what the person copies from their notes. So the teacher writes on the board, they can write like 4, 5, 6 pages, like a lot of pages, and you're expected to copy every single thing into your notes.
Wow.
And by
Ooh.
the end of the term, because we have 3 terms in a year, first, second, and third term. By the end of the term, after your final exam for the third term, on every term, your second, your first term, they check your notes, and if your notes are not complete, you can get punished. Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
So they check your notes. They don't allow electronics. They're strict to a large extent, and they have a lot of discipline.
That sounds like an academy school. Like you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to be on top of everything.
Absolutely. I mean, you learn discipline pretty fast, I'm sure,
Yes.
being in, something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And like
sure.
high school is, like I said, it's 6 years and it's divided into 3 units. So the first 3 years is your junior secondary school, and the last 3 years are your senior secondary school. So we usually typically refer to them as JSS1, JSS2, JSS3 for the first 3 years in junior
Mhm.
school, and SS1, SS2, and SS3 for the last 3 years in high school. So your first 3 years in junior school, you basically take like 16, 70 subjects in total for the term and every term and stuff. Then your last 3 years, so we have three different classes. You can either be in science, arts, or technical drawing. Your science is your medicine, every other thing in biomedical sciences. You can think of science, your arts, your law, your marketing, and technical drawing for architectures and technical drawing, basically. So the last 3 years, my mistake, you choose which class you want to go to. And
Mm.
usually, based on your grades in your junior semester, they put you in a class they recommend, but they don't actually assign you. So it's your choice at the end of the day to choose the category of classes you want to become, and it's not go to, basically. So basically, you 3 years. If you're in science class, you will take chemistry, physics, biology, and all the science related courses.
Mhm.
Technical drawing also does the same thing as science class. The difference is that they just take extra technical drawing, and arts don't take any of the science classes. Okay, so that is
Okay.
basically how the
Wow.
system is.
So, whenever you do a research paper, how do you write that down? Do you go to a library and do it by hand? Are you not allowed to use a computer? Can you like tell us a little bit more about that?
So we did have computer labs in my school, but we actually, to be honest, we rarely use them. And every paper you wrote, everything is from your head. Like
oh,
you
wow.
have to
Wow.
do all your homework from your head. You're not researching from anywhere. Like I said, this is back to where I'm saying electronics are not permitted. So
Mm.
everything you have to work extra hard to earn any grade or the good grades you want to get.
Wow. So, coming here to America and being exposed to so much technology, how what was like your first impression?
So my first semester, and we MSSU uses Blackboard. I know some of you are familiar with the website like Canvas. It's like Canvas but Blackboard. And I really struggled with Blackboard my first semester, and I took Spanish my first semester to be precise. And Spanish is a special language. It has a lot of accents and stuff. So
Yes.
it was really hell figuring how to use Blackboard, especially coming from not using any software
Mhm.
in school. But I did have a university experience class that the MSSU requires freshmen to take, so I think that was of much help. But even though I was still like very much stranded, I had to figure my way out, continually practice with Blackboard to get used to it. But I would say it was a real struggle for me.
Wow, I can
I'm sure. Yeah, I
imagine.
mean, even we use technology in my high school for, forever, but Blackboard, I mean, it's not easy to use sometimes. I mean, especially if you're really new to that program, it can be really confusing.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Mel, for sharing your experiences, your real life experience of just coming here to America. And I'm sure there were a lot of difficulties and struggles that you went through. But I'm just so glad you are still here with us. And I mean, girl, you are killing this. So,
Absolutely. And as a nursing major, you said? I mean, that
Yes.
yeah.
has to be so difficult. I've heard horror stories of being a nurse, but I hear that like the ending is worth it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how's that going? Like,
It's going good. I absolutely have a passion for nursing, so no matter how difficult it is, I will get it. Basically.
that's
Yes, that's
incredible.
the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
If you have a passion for something, I mean, nothing's going to get in your way. And I mean,
Exactly.
that's incredible. That's why we're here. Is
Exactly.
to
I 100% believe that if you just follow your dreams, things are just gonna come to place, and next time you know, you're just gonna find yourself in that position that you were probably dreaming of, and in this case, being a nurse.
Yeah.
So I admire you.
Yeah, me
Thank
too. I mean,
you.
it's
Yes.
incredible. It's very impressive. Anybody, I mean, I have so much respect for anybody who goes into a field like that because, I mean, you're going to be saving lives. You're going to be making this place, this world a better place. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's incredible. I know everybody here is proud of you and wishes you the
Yes,
best in the future.
100%.
Thank you. I really do appreciate you guys having me today for your real life experiences, and I hope to share my story to more people.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, and we are definitely gonna have you back because you have so much. Like I'm intrigued to know in that story, that you mentioned earlier. Now I want to know.
Yeah, I'll be more than willing to share.
Awesome. Well, this was our topic for today, and I just hope everyone enjoyed it. I know I did, and I learned so much from it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was really a good start to our interview because you're the first like
Official.
special
Yeah.
guest on this thing. So I mean, what a great start,
Yes.
This has been awesome.
Yes, absolutely. We started strong with you, and I'm just so glad you share your experience for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining our real life experiences.